Hey guys, it's the Chad, your C10 truck nerd. Well, today is part one of our series on the frame-off build of my 1971 GMC 1500 that we call Forrest. Now the kicker with this build is we're gonna do it on a high school kid budget, which should make things pretty interesting. Now before we blow this truck completely apart, I do want to go through and show you what it looked like 3 years ago when I bought it from my buddy Jeff, what it looks like today, and I'll even give you a little direction of what I hope it looks like in the future. Well, about 3 years ago when my buddy Jeff found this truck, it had been sitting for at least 22 years, or that was the last registration we could find for it was 2004, and it had really been neglected. Unfortunately, the gentleman that owned it before had passed away, and his son needed to get it sold, so that's where Jeff came in, and then I bought it from Jeff. Now this 1971 GMC 1500 started its life as a super custom model, but it had been upfitted over the years to be more like a custom camper. It had those ginormous side mirrors on it. It had aftermarket cruise control. They went through and put the dual saddle tanks in the bed. It had trailer wiring. I could definitely tell there was a drop-in camper that had lived in there for years, but you know, kind of cool stuff, just totally not my style. So a lot of things I loved about Forrest, a lot of things I knew I wanted to get rid of as soon as I got it back home, but this truck was truly gross. It had just sat for way too long. But Jeff and I, we kind of negotiated a little bit on price. I went down there probably with my rose-colored glasses on. You know, I just loved the looks of the exterior of the truck. It was so dirty on the inside, I overlooked a lot of the rust that the cab had in it until I got it home, but truly I had to rip the floor out and to find all this stuff. But you know, I knew I could still make this into a pretty cool budget truck for the channel, and that's what we're gonna do. Alrighty, so my buddy Jeff and I, we agreed on a purchase price of $1,800 for old Forrest. Now at that time, I had just finished parting out a 1969 Chevy C10 that I owned for free, and I just put a bunch of parts for sale, so Jeff was looking for a few of those, so we kind of bartered a little bit back and forth. I brought him down a rear end and a seat, so it was about 300 bucks, so he pulled that off the purchase price, so we brought Forrest home for $1,500. Now once we got it home, we quickly started taking all the crap off of it that we didn't want, so Kiddo and I, we pulled that under dash AC unit, the saddle gas tanks, the cruise control, and we had a bunch of scrap too, so we sold all that stuff for another 300 bucks. So our starting budget with Forrest was $1,200. So our max budget started at 8,000 bucks for this build. You take 1,200 off, we've got $6,800 to play with, and I've already spent a big chunk of that on parts over the last year and a half too, but you know, I think we're doing pretty good. I know 8,000 sounds like a bunch, but again, in this day and age, I mean, it's not. You can barely go get a set of 15-inch Cooper Cobras mounted and balanced for $1,000 anymore. It's just, sucks. I'll tell you, you know, the cool part of working on a frame-off build in the middle of winter in Kansas is nothing. I mean, it sucks out here. I still not got the shop done, and anywho, I'm just whining about things. Now, before we get tearing this truck completely apart, I am going to give you guys a walk around. I'll pull some video from initially when we bought the truck, and I'm going to show you guys around here now, just so you kind of get a baseline to figure out, yeah, we did need a lot of parts for this truck. And I mentioned it's cold, so let's go check it out. Alrighty, so now you saw what it looked like when I picked it up, and unfortunately 3 years later it still looks pretty much the same. I have deleted some of the stuff on there that I didn't like, but it is sitting in dark green original patina paint. Now the only difference that you'll see is the bottom of this door, the bed, and then right up here, partially up the cab, has been resprayed at some point in its life. I don't know why they did that, but now I'm in the pickle of what do we do? Do we try to make patina, just leave it as it is? It's its story, but it does have a 8-inch truck rally wheels on it. It is a really straight truck, other than it's got some damage. The bed smacked the back of the cab, but you can see, yeah, cab corners are well beyond gone. The one reason that well, lots of reasons why I wanted to cut it down, but I do not like those auxiliary aluminum fuel doors on there. Tailgate's really straight. I really like that. 1971 option right there was the disc brake stickers. That was a year only thing. The bed's not too bad. It does have a little bit of rust in the corners there, but when we cut this down to a short bed, we can take care of a lot of that. I don't know if they dropped an engine or something in there, but there is a huge dent in the bed there. This side of this bed's pretty dang straight too. That's where Forrest was, you know, begging for help and tires were blowing just sitting here in the driveway. But man, this patina is just awesome. Same thing, cab corner, it's toast. It does have some rust in these doors. This rocker panel's got some pinholes in it, but man, it's just gorgeous patina, and I can't wait to kind of see how it all turns out in the final process. But pop the hood, I gotta do this two-handed because it just doesn't work right. Alrighty, so under the hood, it was fairly clean too. This was a factory V8 350 truck. Power steering, power brakes. It did have an aftermarket AC unit, which we pulled, so we've got several holes in the firewall we're gonna have to deal with. It does have rust, you know, the bottom of the inner fender's toast, a little bit of the core support, but I've cleaned it up a little bit already. We're gonna have to swap over to a newer power steering pump. The master's leaking. These hood hinges are pretty toast, but how cool, it's still got the factory chalk marks on the firewall. I do love this part. It has a triple stack Delco horn here, so we definitely have to go through and get these horns working again because I just want to hear what they sound like. Show you the inside of this thing. I have already pulled the seat out of it, got everything cleaned up. It's man, it's bad, but not terrible. You know, it's needs outer floors, needs floor patches. Kick panels are pretty bad. You know, back of the cab there, it's just starting to need it. It's pretty nasty on that side. And the worst, some of the things I overlooked when I bought it, yep, it's got a rust up in that eyebrow, and it's, I don't know, do we fix it? Do we spray foam it? No, we're not going to spray foam it, or do we just leave it be? But again, I like the GMCs. It had the tricolor interior, so the cluster, the column, and the glove box door, the dash pad were one color. It's got the off-white door panels, armrest, sun visors, mirror cover, all that stuff. So this is going to look pretty hot when we get it done. Not exactly sure what we're going to do with the seat yet, but show you the bottom now. Alrighty, so if we dive underneath the truck, which is my favorite part, it is a really clean chassis. Now, granted, I have power washed and probably spent 8 hours of my life under this truck over the years, power washing everything off, but there's very minimal rust. No rust holes at all that I could find. Now, this is a 12-bolt 307 open diff, so it'll be a pretty good cruiser. It does have a rear sway bar there, which is kind of cool, and newer dual exhaust. And when I say new, I mean like probably 20 plus years ago. But they had to put that on sometime before they had parked it because it's really clean. Now the biggest rust that you run into is, you know, just like every one of these old C10s, is in the cab. Now it's gonna need front cab supports on both sides. They're trashed, but the rears, they're both good. Now we got a little bit of patching to do the floors, but the main center section under here is perfect. The chassis, it's rusty, it's just surface rust, but it is really clean. So that's gonna be a lifesaver when we go to strip that down. Now, since it is a 71, this is a 5-lug all the way around factory disc brake truck. So that's gonna be cool, give us a lot better wheel option choices with this. But really, it's a pretty cool truck to start with, even if it's a GMC, guys, leave me alone. GMCs are becoming my new favorite, but I dig it. So as we kick off the Forrest Project, one thing I did want to tell all of you guys is I truly appreciate everybody that watches and subscribes to the channel. You know, without your support, there's no way I could be playing with all these junk trucks all the time. And I truly try to get through all the comments and answer all the questions. It does take me a little while sometimes, but you know, most of it's very positive, and some of you guys are just real jerks out there. But one question that kept popping up from the last video was, hey Chad, you said you're going to be partnering with these companies. How is that going to be fair to the budget? And that's an excellent question. And I tell you, I'm super excited to say that we will be partnering up with Auto Metal Direct, Precision Replacement Parts, Wizards Products, Long Shot Fabrications, and we're talking to a couple more. You know, I am ecstatic with this. You know, these are all companies that I've used in the past. We'd be using them no matter what, if they wanted to partner or not. Just great companies with great customer service. But as it comes to the budget, yes, if you guys needed a passenger side rocker panel from AMD and it was $21.99 plus tax and shipping, that's what's going to be applied to the budget. We are going to try to keep this as fair as we possibly can. But everything else that's happening behind the scenes, you know, all the wheeling and dealing that I've been doing on Marketplace, going to auctions, watching closeout online sales, you know, going to these other businesses and haggling with people, you know, that is me just doing a ton of legwork for the last year and a half. And I'm proud to say that I have not paid full price for anything so far, but it still doesn't mean within 6 weeks I'm not just gonna obliterate the budget, which I think I am. You know, $8,000 is, you know, once you start adding stuff up, I mean, it's going quickly, and we haven't even started yet. So we'll see what happens. So what do you guys think? Old Forrest, he's a pretty cool truck to start with. And again, we're leaving him as a patina truck. I just absolutely love his colors. I love green paint, so we're gonna do everything we can to save as much of this green as we can. But I'm kind of interested to see what you guys think. You know, I've bought a lot of parts, but I by far don't have everything that I need. Which direction do we go? What do you guys want to see out of this truck? You know, it is budget. Are we going 1970s, 80s? 90s? Are we going 2026? I don't know. I've got a lot of room, a lot of direction we can play with here, but I definitely want to hear what you guys think we should do with the style of this old truck. So type down in the comments below. I've got a rendering in my head, but it may be totally different than yours. Alrighty folks, so now you kind of have a baseline old Forrest, and you know, he's really not that bad, but he needs a lot of, who am I kidding? He's pretty bad. You know, I had my rose-colored glasses on when I bought him. I missed all this rust. We've got our hands full, and I may have bit off more than I can chew with this, you know, high school kid budget idea, but it's gonna be really fun. You know, I am no great mechanic. I'm a shade tree mechanic on my best day, so I'm really excited for this build because I'm gonna get to learn a lot of stuff, taking this truck completely apart, putting it back together. That's fun for me, you know, and I am seeking a lot of information from you guys. You know, if you guys have tips and tricks for me, type it down in the comments. You know, if I'm doing something completely wrong, let me know. Just be polite about it. You know, I hate when people dog on each other on the internet. Just keep it truck friendly out there. But I want a lot of input from you guys, because again, we're out here trying to go through and show guys on tight budgets and these high school kids that this stuff can be done and it can be affordable if you just pinch your pennies together. Well, if you guys haven't, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you come back, because we haven't even began. You know, I don't even know what we're gonna do next time, but it's a lot, and I do still need a little bit of money for the piggy bank. So if you guys are interested in any C10 Truck Nerd t-shirts or sweatshirts, hit me up on Facebook or Instagram, or you can email me at it's thechad71@gmail.com, and I'll let you know what what I've got left. Well, I appreciate your time and thanks for watching. It's cold.